So November 6th, 2017, this is the view from Mother Earth Minerals. Quite spectacular. The Wasatch Mountains. Okay, so it's relax sensitive.
Okay, relax sensitive. The electromagnetic shielding is showing this.
Oh, it's zero.
It's zeros.
Zero. That's the first time I've seen zero all day. Zero.
This is electromagnetic pollution free, folks.
Oh my God.
There is no sound, there is no note, there is no problem.
Okay, there's a little one.
The little one first, when you first turn it on, it has to be free of contact with this. Okay, so we see the zeros coming all the way across.
That's incredible. After seeing the iMRS and the BEMER,
yeah,
this is incredible.
Okay, now it gets even better because now we can.
Because again, it's plugged in, folks.
Let's turn this. Yeah, it's all turned on. No, we're not moving anything else. Keep staying right here.
Well, I want to show that that it's plugged in.
Plugged in. Okay.
Because I mean, somebody could just like put a pad up that's not plugged in. So there's the cord from the wall to the QRS, which is plugged in. And this is the cord coming out of the QRS to this mat. And turn it on.
It goes to zero as it calculates. Okay. What it's doing is reading the overall flux density of the environment. When it zeroes out to zero, this is what sold me on this QRS. It is absolutely incredible. Now notice here on our tri-field meter, this is showing the pulsing. This is set to go at a triple pulse. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Pulse, pulse, pulse. See the triune 3 pulses. That's what a pulse electromagnetic field is all about. We didn't see any of this with the BEMER. None of this. It was all a constant high pegging electromagnetic field. Okay? We see how the flux doesn't measure. It's not, because this electromagnetic pulse of 3 pulses is shielded. It's going into the cells that need it. Pulse, pulse, pulse. See? But all the way across, you see it at even. There's no density differences like you see in the BEMER.
And that's still at 0.
Yeah, still 0.
1.
See, that has not changed. It's still pulsing the same pulse. Beam, beam, beam. Pulse, pulse, pulse. That's what a pulsed electromagnetic field is supposed to do. Okay? I would go so far as to say the BEMER is not a PEMF at all. It's a sawtooth electromagnetic field. It doesn't pulse whatsoever. We've proven that. The programs show it. Okay? So this is on our lowest setting. Now, what's amazing about the QRS, I'm going to leave this all here. We're going to change this out to go to a different, from relax to basis and go to medium, and you'll see that the pulsing pattern changes. Now suddenly we have a field and we have a sound. We've got more intense. But you can feel the pulse field.
And still it's at
still,
0, 0, 0,
the flux density is still 0. You can still pick it up that it's changing. Pulse, 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 pulse. Pulse, pulse, see this?
And still little to nothing electrosmog.
Now we go to the sensitive.
We have to stop it. Basic sensitive. Basis sensitive.
And so the sensitivity, see how it's different? You can't even pick it up with this because it's not putting out any flux. This field here on the tri-field is showing a lower sensitivity. It's not going all the way up, it's going just partially up. So it's, see the difference in the two settings is this is not a triple pulse, it's a constant steady pulse. Beam, 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 beam.
Right, versus the relaxed.
Again, this is what all the patents are all about, is showing the differences in the not only intensity but the pattern of the pulses. Isn't a key part of what the research has done with Dr. Pauling and others. Okay, so now let's go to the intense on the same pattern. We go to the still on basis, and so we're here on intensive. Now you'll see the difference. As I push this on, you'll hear the machine go off. See? Because we're very intensive now. And see, we're pegging it all the way in. And now this is showing it here too.
It's still zero.
Still zero. And that's electromagnetic pollution that's not happening.
No electromagnetic pollution at basis intensive.
Electrosmog. And that's as high as it's been. But see, the pulsing is so important. We saw none of this pulsing with the BEMER. And very little pulsing with this, except for the 12 cycle on the iMRS.
Right. And again,
Okay.
that is, the electrosmog is just amazing.
Now let's go to the next level.
Vital?
Yeah, the vital, and you can see, we'll go hit vital sensitive. Okay. Because it's still sensitive. See the difference in the pulse? But there's no sound. And zeros. Zeros in the flux density.
This is incredible.
Yeah?
It's like swimming in mud, and now we're swimming.
Yeah, isn't it
We've gone
exciting?
from swimming in mud to
No, it's the difference between night, darkness, and day, light. Okay? It's that difference. People want you to believe there's really no difference in pulse electromagnetic fields. I'm telling you, there's a huge difference in these PEMF pads. Okay, huge difference. Okay, so let's leave it there. You see this? We'll leave it together. Now I'm going to turn it up to the medium level on vital.
wow.
Here's the medium. Okay. Medium level.
You have to turn this down.
Nope, that's showing that it's pegging.
Okay. So vital medium is similar to the BEMER on all the time.
Yeah, but notice this. It's still like a sawtooth pulse, but there's no flux.
Right.
There's no electromagnetic smog.
That's incredible.
You can pick it up. Okay.
That isn't just incredible.
But see, on either the iMRS or the BEMER, you couldn't have that pickup. It was so flux. It was so much flux and interference, which is the very definition of electrosmog. It's interference. You're not getting this clear signal. This QRS pad, when I got all three of them to test myself, because I'm from Missouri, you got to show me, you got to prove it to me. I was like, wow. I called our friend up that provided us this. There's such a huge difference. I'm just stunned. And so the next thing is let's make a video to show and tell the people objectively what's going on here. Okay, now the last setting is the highest of the high. Okay, we're going to go to vital intensive. Notice how it's just really more.
Wow, this is the max setting.
Max setting.
And there's like no electrosmog.
There's a little bit, but it's shielded. It's 0, 0, 1. 0, 2 as you come up, but you get closer to the mat. There's a little bit, but you're talking that there was 35 to 40 power flux density on both of those other pads. I mean, believe me, when I test for harmful electromagnetic flux, anything about 30 to 50 is dangerous. It's what you see in front of a computer. You don't see this flux on the QRS pad. You definitely hear the intensity and see how this is pegged. Which brings us back to this. Now let's leave this here. My favorite is relaxed and sensitive, because what I do with my minerals with people, I always start them off on the relaxed sensitive when they're taking the calcium. This is really a key thing. Dr. Pauling one of our conversations, he said, when you get this technology, when the patents are issued, you can use it with your calcium. Okay, I have the Linus Pauling formula, what's called calcium++, Ca++, which just simply means it has extra electrons inside our shell. When you give the right calcium under the tongue sublingually, and he says with a tripulsed frequency on a setting, he said you will have what's called a calcium cascade occur. I said, what's calcium cascade, Dr. Pauling? He said, this is a huge, huge breakthrough in health. Human beings accumulate the wrong type of calcium. The calcification of the arteries is what's called hardening of the arteries. Arteriosclerosis is what's caused heart disease. Is really what causes strokes. Is that blockage, that's unusable calcium makes it hard, makes the tissues inflexible. He says, so when you have the right frequency pulse, along with the right usable calcium, what happens, the cells will suddenly begin to relax their hold on the unusable calcium, and what he called the calcium cascade happens, and the unusable calcium dumps out. Kidneys start working better, the renal system starts functioning better. People in renal failure, this is part of the reason, the calcification of the kidneys, what is rooted in kidney disease. But he said the key thing that happens with the calcium cascade, combining this QRS pad with the right calcium on only an 8-minute setting, starts the calcium cascade flowing. And what happens is, number one thing he showed in his research studies, he says suddenly you have something called macrophages that are activated. I would challenge you listening to this to do your own research on macrophage and what's called the macrophage activating factors. That's research by Dr. Yamamoto in Japan. This is a key to cancer prevention, ladies and gentlemen. It's important. The macrophages quit actively working in the body if you have too much unusable calcium. It blocks their efficiency. Anytime you have cancer building up in the bodies, in the cells, cancer puts out a product that Dr. Yamamoto called Nagalese. Nagalese does one thing and one thing only. It blocks macrophage function. It shuts it down, like electromagnetic pulse will shut down your car's engine. Okay, it's the same thing with the macrophage. It's electrical in structure. What Pauling said, it was a breakthrough. The right calcium with the right electromagnetic pulse will cause a calcium cascade, and number one thing that will happen is your macrophages are activated. And they have 300 different tests done that I pulled the research up on, and I was just like smiling from ear to ear. Thank you, Dr. Pauling. Wow, you're like teaching me from the grave. Because this was so important to come to me to say, okay, so what I do in my research is working with people that have cancers, that have other problems, hardening of the arteries, diabetes, and their kidneys are starting to shut down, and we give them the right calcium with the right therapy on the QRS pad at this low setting, and guess what? They're starting to rebuild and regenerate. The key study that I give to people is what the calcium cascade is all about. Okay, the calcium cascade does so many different things. The macrophage are activated, but something called nitric oxide is activated. Do your homework on nitric oxide, ladies and gentlemen. The levels of nitric oxide go down in your body as you age. Nitric oxide is what helps keep your blood vessels and things elastic. It's a lack of nitric oxide causes strokes and problems. So here's macrophage being activated. Here's all these studies proving the nitric oxide is increased in the body. And it's simple. Take calcium before you sit on this pad, the sublingual calcium, the Ca++, goes into your bloodstream immediately under the tongue, and you're sitting on this pad, it's activating your macrophage, increasing nitric oxide. Clinically proven this happens. Now, that's huge for humanity. That's exactly what Pauling was so excited about. Understanding the calcium cycles, the calcium cascade, and what it means is a huge part of the wellness picture, folks. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my favorite setting, which is simply relax, sensitive, okay, because we're going to see this again in real time. Okay, we have this at the magnetic pulse. You should see the
Barely there.
barely moving at the sensitive.
That's the lowest power setting on the QRS.
That's the lowest setting. but it's pulsing it. You still see the 3 pulses. I'm sorry, right there is our lowest sensitive range. Okay.
Is it stronger down here?
Not really. It's still
Not
showing.
really.
It's still showing the pulsing.
Okay.
Let's go over to the electric.
And as far as at the head,
Okay. Okay, let's move. Oh, I didn't start it. That's why. It hasn't started. There we go. There we go. Let's push the start button. There's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
and that's unsensitive. Okay.
3. I push the start button to make it work. Okay, why is this not doing it? Okay, but see our zero flux. I'll put these next to each other and you can see the pulse electromagnetic field with 3 pulse, 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 0 flux density. There is no harmful electromagnetic smog whatsoever in this field.
And let me just do something. Now we'll jump from the lowest power setting to the highest power setting. And still
low flux.
no electrosmog. From the lowest power setting to the highest power setting, still no
And it's
electrosmog.
showing the field being pegged.
Yeah, the field's pegged because it's so strong.
Yeah.
But that's the insanity of the iMRS and the BEMER.
I would just like to point out that
Highest
again,
power setting.
we set the BEMER on the lowest number 2 and the highest 9, and there was no difference in the fields that I could gauge.
From these instruments.
Of the instruments. So let's go back into. I want to show the relax and the medium. So there's that. See, you still have. Okay, we're gonna go low, but see, it's the pulsing. Here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You can hear it. This machine will pick that up. You can hear it. But notice the flux density, 0. And let's go to the highest intensity. You still. So the relax setting is that pulse, that 3 pulse. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Relax one, let me go medium.
Okay. So there we go. There's the medium. There's the sensitive. Let's go back to the sensitive. I personally love that sensitive.
Do you sleep with the sensitive?
I just like the way it feels when I take the minerals. And this is the setting that I used on my little Tibetan Terrier dog. A miracle thing happened with that little dog. Though he did eventually pass, he was like 18 years old, and the last legs, he got up and one morning and was just shaking and tremoring. And we thought, well, this is the end. We took him into the vet to have the dose given. He was just so old. The veterinarian diagnosed he had cancer. He had a lump, and he says it's time. So my wife loved this little dog, and she says it's not ready for, I'm not ready for it. Let's take him home. And I said, honey, it's not the dog's suffering. He can't eat his bowels. He wasn't doing anything. And she said, no, please, let's put him on the QRS pad give him some calcium, put him on the calcium. I said, okay, honey, it's his time. Let's my vote. No, please, let's take him home and try it. I put him on this setting on the QRS pad, and my wife gave him some. She had him wrapped up in a towel because he'd lost his bowel function. I thought he would die that night. I did. I put him on a towel over the QRS. I had him in a box, actually. Put a cardboard box with the towel wrapped around him, put him in the middle of the QRS at this setting. And the little dog just immediately stopped shaking. He was doing this tremors things. He quit shaking, and he seemed like he relaxed and went to sleep. And so we went to eat dinner. So in the 20 minutes we were in hearing dinner, we were on a day bed, a little bit shorter than this pad. So he would be on, when he's on this day bed, this dog couldn't even jump. He would sit there and bark he didn't want to jump off, he was so old. At the end of the 20 minutes, we had him on just an 8-minute cycle. When we heard thump, and we heard his feet pattering on the. He comes walking in to see what's for dinner. We were all like, wow. He was no shaking. He not only energized enough to jump off the pad, but he come to check out what was so good smell. This dog lived another 10 months. And then finally, he just had his time, and he just died in my wife's arms, just there. But it was like 10 more months of what to me was a miracle with this. And she had him on the pad every night for 3 months, and he took him back to the vet for a checkup, and she was like, "My goodness, this dog is way past 130 some years in human age." She was a miracle.
What is 10 months in human years?
What? 70. So it's like he was like 18 or 19 years old. So it's like 1 year to this dog's age, like 7 human years.
So he almost had an extra 5 years of life.
Yeah, exactly.
The QRS
gave him. Yeah.
The QRS gave him an extra 5 years of human life.
And that was important for my wife, and she was, she saw that this one day, no matter what the pet, it was his time. He just went, and but it was a natural thing. It wasn't that he was suffering, and it was kind of a cool thing. So anyway, that's my story on what happened. It was a shocker when that dog comes walking in, like, okay, what's for supper? So.
Hey,
Thank you.
I need to go with that.
So we're on vital intensity.
Well, it's the highest possible setting. Okay, now we have this field. Most of the other pads didn't even register.
And we're pretty far away.
We're way far away, and still we have the sawtooth pulsing pad. Clear out. We're probably 6 feet away, 7 feet away. Now as we get closer. Get closer, we see. You see and hear the field.
Oh yeah, it's pegged out.
Yeah,
Pegged out, but
0.
no electrosmog.
There's 2,
Very
1.
nothing. 1, 2.
Notice how it's uniform,
Right.
fairly uniform here.
There it is.
There's no highs and lows in the pad. See, that to me is just way cool.
And again, a little bit more electrosmog.
A little bit there, but right there is where we start picking the field up. Still 001. That's so minimal. It's not even funny.
And this is the max intensity.
Now let's put this little thing on here. You can hear it a lot more too. It's the same pattern you heard out of this one. See? Mm-hmm. We heard this, but this just amplifies it. Still 0 flux. There's 1. There was no electrosmog going into this man's body. None. 0. Now I'm going to turn this off. I want it to go back to the relax and sensitive because what happens to me is kind of cool with the sensitive. When a body is on this, things start happening that's kind of cool to me. Can you hear it? Mm-hmm. Beep, beep, beep. And that's coming out of his body in certain key regions. The lungs register it. Up here, you don't register it. Get over the lung.
Wow.
Why is that?
So it only passes through. Well, the lungs are mostly air.
Yeah. The lungs are where the calcium cascade begins.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean within the blood? The blood flow, or?
Yeah. So you get the lungs and the organs, the primary the lung.
Hey, let's do a calcium cascade right now.
What?
Oh, he wants a hit of calcium.
Give me the,
I don't have one with me, but we should. You can take it later.
I
Okay,
did,
there you go.
I did it yesterday at home, but I
There you
don't,
go.
if I had some,
Okay, is that cool or what?
Yeah, it's
See,
mind-boggling.
as I show this, oh, and I got to tell you what I did. There was a really, I can't give you names. A friend of mine that was really ill. He had rheumatoid arthritis terribly, and he's living in a mobile home park with a mobile home that's quite old. And so I came in and I says, he's been to doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor for his rheumatoid arthritis, his problems. I gave him a calcium cascade sheet that's out of the QRS manual, okay, the research. I says, rheumatoid arthritis is caused by too much of the calcium blocking your joints, your system. Let me come in with my machine and check your hot spots, okay? Well, his bedroom was off the charts, 65, 70, and the electrosmog.
Wow.
I said, you got to either shield it or do something, and to look at the shielding, he didn't have any money, it's like $3,000 or $4,000 to put the electromagnetic shielding in. So I says, look, I got a QRS pad, I'll let you try. He came in, I put the pad in. He was laying, I started him out on the sensitive setting, intermediate. So I came in as he was 6 minutes into it. I came in with this machine. I could measure the electrosmog high, but around his body there was none. It was zero again. The pad stopped. I put the pad completely off, laying in his bed. He was full of it,
When he was not on the
and
pad.
he was not on the pad. Okay?
Did you test him when it was plugged in and it was off and he was on the pad?
I didn't test it when the machine was off. I only tested him when he had the pad running, and when it was running, there was no electrosmog.
Is he still around?
Oh, yeah.
He's still alive?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Oh,
that would be something to test, because from what I've seen, even when it shuts off, it's pulling electrosmog out of
Okay.
you. Even when it
I
shuts
never
off.
tested that. It probably is right.
Uh-huh.
Okay. He couldn't afford the machine, unfortunately, and so I let him have it for quite a while. But he's doing so much better. And when he has problems, I said he doesn't sleep in that electrosmog area. He goes back. But what it did do, it did pull that electrosmog blocking out. There's no doubt in my mind that's what's happening. He felt so much better immediately after the first session, and he takes my calcium cascade helps that block that too. So between the two, that we had him, it was 10 days of like sleeping with the pad. He said it saved his life, but he understands now. He doesn't sleep in that
area.
In that area, he sleeps more in this front room, that's not got the problem. So what I'm saying with this, folks, electromagnetic smog is a huge part of the wellness or illness equation. Don't underestimate it. And I'm just going to say, please don't put a device in your home that you're ignorant of, that increases the electrosmog and doesn't dissipate it or remove it. I'm here to tell you, again, the international patent that hits the most to me is what they've shown conclusively in studies, that this technology of the QRS not only blocks electrosmog in the body, but dissipates it away from your body. And I can tell you in my research that's exactly what happens. I verify exactly that's true. The patent is viable, it's real. Again, which pad is best? There's no doubt in my mind the QRS is hands and away, light years ahead of any other
Not
technology.
even close.
Not even close.
Not
Okay.
even close.
That's my research study and testimony to you, and how it works with my minerals, my Mother Earth Minerals company. It's really important. The minerals do great things, but it's all based on frequencies. These are all my frequencies. This is my whiteboard. I put all the different frequencies of my minerals down here. The harmonic frequencies of vanadium, boron, calcium, for instance, calcium 64 hertz, magnesium 36 hertz on the Pythagorean scale of how the body's made, the cells. It's all numbers, folks. What I'm telling you, minerals work at the cellular level because of a pulse electromagnetic frequency they have. Dr. Pauling understood that. Again, Dr. Pauling, 2-time Nobel Prize winner, folks. He set the bar for these minerals. He said that they work because of frequencies. He called them, he was my mentor, my teacher. he taught me that these minerals are what he called coenzyme factors. The body must have these minerals to build essential enzymes. So imagine in the early 90s when he was telling me about this pulse electromagnetic technology field, how excited he was to magnify the frequencies of the minerals, because these are the harmonics and the shielding that they patented was very much tying in to the frequencies of the minerals, harmonizing them, not taking away their effectiveness, but boosting them like a turbocharge on the boosting. Now I found this out, that my minerals work good without the pad, but if people can go with the pad with like a protocol of cancer for the minerals that help fight cancer, keep those macrophages activated, when you combine the two, it's a 1-2 punch, right hook, and it's absolutely a major difference of turbocharging the effectiveness of the minerals. So that's what I wanted to say, and I'm grateful to the manufacturers, for Dr. Fisher and the others, the technology that they've done. They brought out, again, I tip my hat off to Dr. Pauling and his 20 plus years of research into this. We, as I say, we, the Society of Humanity, I think we owe a great debt to Dr. Pauling and others, because he, in my opinion, talking with him, he was a humanitarian. It wasn't about the money with him, it wasn't about the fame, it wasn't about the fortune. He says, I want to be a blessing. I want to have this be a blessing to humanity. And I think that's what this is all about. We don't want to disparage other products or say, but you got to have knowledge. You got to know what it's doing or not doing, and not get sucked into the hype, the sales hype. Are you doing a product to make money, to make your bankroll a little bit better? Or are you really caring about humanity and helping them? See, I submit to you, Dr. Pauling was a humanitarian, and I tip my hat off to him. And same with the current people in Germany now, Dr. Fisher and others. They really know this helps. They know it, they've proven it, they've shared it. It's an approved medical device in the European Union. The FDA is light years behind it at this curve right now, but it's here in America, we've got to get the word out and share how powerful this QRS combined with minerals can be in health and healing. So thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Okay.